I thought the interview was hilarious entertaining. That man dropped so many one-liners that I'm sure we are going to be wearing down to the ground. There are some people who know how to lie so well. They know how to sprinkle in just enough truth in the comedy ring, where punches are thrown in the form of jokes and jibes. Steve Harvey finds himself in the eye of the storm Cat Williams and Samuel L. Jackson, each with their own gripes, are leading the charge. Is this another day in the life of a comedian, or is there more to this comedic clash than meets the eye? Stay tuned as we uncover the truth joke by Joke King. I got the offer then. What happened? But I turned it down. Why? Because you on Bernie. And I know the truth as we dive deeper into the swirling controversy surrounding Steve Harvey. It becomes abundantly clear that this comedy giant's life is fraught with more than just comedic punchlines. Now let's talk about a feud that lays bare the stark differences between two comedic legends, Steve Harvey and the late Bernie Mac. It's no secret that Steve Harvey and Bernie Mac were once inseparable, sharing the spotlight as part of the iconic Original Kings of Comedy tour alongside fellow comedians Dea Hooley and Cedric the Entertainer. But beneath the laughs and camaraderie, an undercurrent of tension simmered, causing ripples in their friendship. You wish you have kept it together. Could have kept it together couple. We tried everything, but the feud can be traced back to them. Stark contrast in their approaches to comedy. Steve Harvey was always focused on making money and expanding his brand, and ambition that often led to accusations of arrogance and self-centeredness. On the other hand, Bernie Mac was driven by his passion for art and comedy. He held his craft in the highest regard, a stark contrast to Harvey's relentless pursuit of wealth and fame. I met Bernie years and years ago when I used to have a golf tournament down in Bermuda, and Bernie was the highlight of my comedy night. Enter Samuel L. Jackson, a close friend of Bernie Mac's, who found himself in the crossfire of this comedic clash. Jackson, known for his integrity both on and off screen, couldn't help but be critical of Harvey's approach to comedy and life in general. The two industry veterans had rarely been seen together, which raised eyebrows in an industry where professionals at their level are usually friends, or at least acquaintances. I have friends that I look up one day and I realize we've achieved something that we talked about. The rift between Steve Harvey and Bernie Mac wasn't just a matter of differing comedic philosophies. Shockingly, Steve Harvey was accused of betraying his one-time co-star and friend in a very public manner, while the world saw them as partners in laughter. Behind the scenes, Harvey allegedly attempted to push Bernie Mac under the proverbial bus. But how did it all start? It's reported that during their time together on the Original Kings of Comedy tour, Harvey was hell-bent on sidelining Bernie Mac, despite the duo being part of a professional ensemble striving for mutual success. The revelation of this shocking betrayal sent shockwaves through the comedy world. That the beef between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey was because Steve Harvey was getting a lot of network love during the time, and Bernie Mac, not so much. And then Bernie started to get it. This explosive revelation sheds new light on the tension simmering beneath the surface, tensions that could have influenced the relationship between Steve Harvey and Samuel Jackson. Jackson's loyalty to his friend Bernie Mac was steadfast, and he couldn't turn a blind eye to Harvey's alleged treacherous actions. He always was wide open for that, and he never lost being that kid from Chicago that wanted to make everybody laugh and keep. If we look beyond the feud, Steve Harvey's personal life is marred by controversies that further erode his public image. Harvey, known for his relationship advice and authorship of books like Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, has faced severe criticism for his tumultuous love life. Despite dishing out relationship advice, Harvey has been married not once, not twice, but 3 times, with each marriage marred by allegations of violence or infidelity. This glaring inconsistency between his public image and private life casts a shadow on his credibility as a love guru. Samuel L. Jackson's issues with Steve Harvey run deeper than personal disagreements. It's not just about differing comedic styles or their alleged feud with Bernie Mac. Jackson has raised questions about the authenticity of Steve Harvey's public persona, both personally and professionally. Jackson's contempt for Harvey has been apparent over the years, with him recently discussing their encounter while on vacation a few years ago. Images of the two couples, Jackson with his wife and Harvey with his wife on vacation together, led the public to assume they were friends. Headlines even touted their camaraderie. However, Jackson made it clear that their meeting was nothing more than a coincidence, highlighting the distance between them. This revelation rekindles suspicions about Steve Harvey's sincerity and integrity. Could it be that Jackson sees through the facade and is unwilling to buy into the public persona Steve Harvey portrays? When you get surrounded or bombarded with negativity, you have a tendency to look at it to focus on it, man. You've really got to replace those as we delve further into the tempestuous world of comedian Steve Harvey. Another heavyweight contender steps into the ring, and this time it's none other than the infamous Cat Williams. If you thought Samuel L. Jackson's allegations were explosive, get ready for a comedy showdown that might just leave you speechless. Cat Williams, known for his razor-sharp humor and outspoken nature, recently took the gloves off and went toe-to-toe with Steve Harvey in a no-holds-barred interview on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay podcast. Williams didn't mince words when it came to his long-standing feud with Harvey. Williams fired the first shot, accusing Steve Harvey of plagiarism and not so gently dubbing him a potato head. This isn't the first time Cat has thrown shade at his fellow comedians, but this time he didn't stop at Harvey. He also had Cedric the Entertainer and Ricky Smiley in his crosshairs. But what does all of this have to do with Steve Harvey? Well, Cat Williams didn't miss the chance to connect the dots. He accused Harvey of stealing Mark Curry's role as Mark Cooper on The Steve Harvey Show. Williams boldly claimed that Steve had watched Mark Curry perform and then incorporated everything he saw into his own sitcom. Cat even took jabs at Steve's appearance, claiming that his high-top fade was nothing more than a man unit, the same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark. But the most damning allegation that Williams threw into the mix was Harvey's supposed betrayal of Bernie Mac. According to Williams, Harvey actively worked to sideline Bernie Mac during their time together on the original Kings of Comedy tour. Truth, it was Steve's tour, not it was going to be called the Kings of Comedy with Steve's tour. These are the guys opening for him. He even suggested that the tour was covertly centered around Harvey, with Bernie McMade to perform last in a bid to discredit him. You stop it. You stop it. That man was funnier than all of y'all. And y'all thought y'all had one over on him. You thought he were black and ugly. Haka plot thickens even further in this comedy saga. Cat Williams didn't just stop at exposing Steve Harvey's alleged transgressions against him. He revealed a shocking offer that came his way. Cat Williams claimed that after Bernie Mac's and timely passing, Steve Harvey offered him the chance to step into the late comedian's shoes as part of the legendary original Kings of Comedy tour. It was an offer that could have reshaped the comedy landscape, but Williams had other ideas. In a display of utmost respect for his friend and fellow comedian Bernie Mac, Cat Williams chose to turn down the offer. You think I'm let you on, Bernie, and then come get me. I'm the next king, you will ya. Mrs. wasn't content with just criticizing Harvey's career moves. He also threw a punch at his personal life. He alleged that Steve Harvey's multiple marriages, each plagued by allegations of violence and infidelity, were at odds with his public image as a relationship guru. The explosive revelations from Cat Williams' no-holds-barred interview left the comedy world reeling, and now it seems that more celebrities are stepping forward to corroborate his claims. Lover, a close friend of the late Bernie Mac, recently added fuel to the fire by supporting Williams' accusations against Steve Harvey during an episode of his Hom and Son podcast. Lover shared an insight into Bernie Mac's perspective on the situation, stating the stuff that Cat Williams said about Steve Harvey calling to try to get Bernie's role on Ocean's 11 and that kind of stuff. Bernie told me out of his own mouth. I believe Bernie Mac when he said Steve Harvey hated on him. But the support for Cat Williams doesn't stop there. Bernie Mac's dog Therese Mulla also weighed in on the controversy. Although she had never met Williams personally, Mulla expressed her admiration for his honesty and praised him for shedding light on the cutthroat nature of the comedy industry in a video shared on social media. She remarked, I don't know Cat Williams. I never met him. That's one person I never did get to meet when my dad was alive. But from everything I've ever heard my dad, say he's always seemed like a stand-up. Mulla's words, while not direct lie implicating Harvey, provide indirect support for the claims that Williams made about her father's experience within the comedy world. She appreciates the genuine respect and praise that Williams showed her late father, reinforcing the notion that Bernie Mac was a man of integrity in